Picture this: two beloved TV icons wrapped in late 90s Hollywood glamour, swept together by an on-screen romance that fans worshipped, only to watch their real-life chemistry ignite chaos, a betrayal, and, ultimately, twin tragedies. Julian McMahon and Shannen Doherty seemed destined for something bigger than the magical fantasy of Charmed. Years later, both would wage war against the same ruthless disease, passing within 12 months of each other as if destiny itself had written one last heartbreaking twist. How did a show built on sisterly spells breed so much darkness? And why does fate keep stitching their lives and deaths into a single, haunting narrative? Stay close, because what unraveled behind those studio doors is wilder than any demon the Hallowell sisters ever banished. When Charmed burst onto screens in 1998, viewers devoured its witchy world without a clue that backstage tempers simmered, hotter than the cauldron in the attic. Alyssa Milano's Phoebe Hallowell soon fell for Cole Turner, the brooding half-demon played by Australian heartthrob Julian McMahon. Sparks flew on camera, but something even hotter sizzled out of sight. By season 3, tabloids whispered that McMahon and Shannen Doherty, Prue Hallowell herself, were secretly dating. Crew members swore the tension was thick enough to carve with a letter opener. Every time Milano and McMahon shot a love scene, eyes darted toward Doherty, whose legendary clashes with Milano had already made headlines. The set that portrayed good witches uniting against evil was starting to feel like a minefield of fragile alliances and bruised egos. Audiences adored the storytelling. Meanwhile, scripts were quietly shuffled so warring castmates could avoid each other between takes. The powder keg finally blew when Shannen announced her shocking departure, officially chalked up to creative differences, unofficially fueled by friction so intense that producers feared a full-scale meltdown. Even as fans mourned Prue's exit, they had no idea that divorces rebound romances, and whispered vendettas were turning the studio lot into something closer to a tabloid battlefield than a fantasy set. Part of the volatility traced back to McMahon's personal upheaval. While playing Cole, he was locking horns in court with Baywatch star Brooke Burns, fighting over custody arrangements that splashed across gossip columns. Headlines screaming Hollywood hottie divorces lifeguard beauty collided with fresh rumors that he and Doherty were an item. At the same time, Milano was dating Brian Krauseth, white lighter, Leo wrapping the romantic web even tighter. Picture a call sheet where every kissing couple had one of their real exes lingering near the craft services table. Many cast and crew joked the demons on set had nothing on the awkward silences when real feelings bled into fictional scripts. But Shannen's emotional roller coaster started long before Charmed. In her early 20s, she hopped from one whirlwind engagement to the next, then straight into disaster. After a broken 10-month engagement to health club owner Chris Fuses, she accepted a ring from cosmetics heir Dean J. Factor. Within months, Factor filed a restraining order, claiming she'd cocked a gun and threatened to off him, revved a car to ward him in rage, and even hurled a log through a window. No charges stuck, but the incident cemented her bad girl reputation. Hollywood quickly learned that Doherty lived, loved, and fought at maximum volume. 6 months later, barely catching her breath, Shannen married actor-musician Ashley Hamilton. They'd known each other for all of 2 weeks before tying the knot. 5 months later, divorce papers. Then, in 2002, she wed poker rogue Rick Salamoniez. That Rick Salomon, future creator of a certain night vision tape and double ex-husband of Pamela Anderson. Their union lasted 9 months and ended in annulment. Each split left deeper scars on her public image, but friends insisted she was chasing something simple: absolute loyalty in a town built on slippery promises. If loyalty was the goal, she finally thought she'd found it in 2008 while posing for a fashion spread. She locked eyes with the photographer behind the lens, Kurt Iswarienko. Flashbulbs popped, chemistry pulsed, and rumor mills spun over time because Iswarienko was then married to actress Taryn Band. Hollywood tongues wagged that Shannen had broken up yet another marriage. Reality proved messier. Kurt and Taryn were already sliding apart, but the photo shoot turned tension into freefall. By 2011, Kurt and Shannen said "I do" in a beachside ceremony so lavish it anchored the season finale of her reality show. Shannen says, "Viewers saw a radiant bride, apparently tamed at last by true love." Close friends exhaled, hoping the roller coaster had finally returned to the platform. For a while, life settled. Shannen stepped back from leads in favor of quieter projects and convention appearances, often hand in hand with Kurt. They smoked barbecue on weekends instead of hot red carpets. Paparazzi trailed less and less. Then, in 2015, time froze. Doctors uttered 2 words that split her world: breast cancer. Shannen later confessed she phoned Kurt before facing him. Too scared to speak in person, he rushed home and wrapped her in a promise: "We'll beat this." Surgeries, chemo, body image battles, and lost acting gigs followed. Cancer costs more than hair and energy. It costs the illusion of tomorrow. Yet Kurt's camera documented everything: every shaved head selfie, every victory lap around the block between infusions. "Cancer solidified us," she told People, explaining how petty arguments vanished because survival gave no room for silent treatment. Radiation ended. Scans declared remission, and the couple grasped gratitude with both hands. They traveled, fostered sheltered dogs, and posted fierce side-by-side smiles. Shannen returned to conventions, hugging fans who drew strength from her unfiltered candor. But cancer lurked like a scripted, last-act villain. In late 2019, it returned. As stage 4, incurable, yet treatable, so long as modern medicine could pause its march. The disease forced Shannen to live in 6-month increments. She leaned on Kurt, counted breaths, and kept acting whenever possible. Because storytelling was the spell that had saved her before. Then 2023 arrived, and the fairy tale veneer shattered in an instant. Kurt moved out in January without fanfare. By April, divorce petitions hit court dockets. In her filing, Shannen cited irreconcilable differences and requested spousal support while demanding Kurt receive none. Her lawyer's public statement sharpened rumors into laser-focused blame. Contact Kurt's agent, Collier Grimm, as she is intimately involved. Suddenly, the narrative looked uncomfortably familiar. A triangle, betrayal whispers, and tabloid headlines that wrote themselves. Friends whispered that Shannen's health was deteriorating. Sources told TMZ the split was extremely acrimonious, while Shannen posted cryptic Instagram quotes about respect. Lawyers wrangled over assets. No prenup meant every bank statement was now a battlefield. The next year, grief stacked upon grief. On July 13, 2024, the world lost Shannen Doherty at just 53. Tributes cascaded from Beverly Hills' 90,210 co-stars, charmed fandom forums, and fellow survivors who cherished her blunt honesty about pain and hope. Binge watchers cued favorite episodes: Brenda fighting for true love, Prue defying death. They cried for a woman who embodied resilience, flaws and all, but fate had another cruel echo chamber ready. On July 2nd, 2025, news broke that Julian McMahon had succumbed to an aggressive cancer at 56. Headlines could barely contain the eerie symmetry. Star-crossed lovers on TV, real-life romance during the show's most turbulent era, and now twin battles against the same ruthless foe, lost within a single calendar year. Old photos of Cole cradling Prue's hand flooded social media feeds. Fans who once shipped them for fictional thrills now mourned an undeniable, tragic poetry. Two candles extinguished, one after the other, as though destiny itself demanded a curtain call. What remains is a legacy of extremes. Shannen lived like a supernova, brilliant, volatile, unforgettable. She fought studios, lovers, disease, and rumors with equal ferocity, never once dialing her truth to decaf. She taught audiences that vulnerability can roar louder than scripted bravado. Julian, ever the charming rogue, carved a career on seductive villains and soulful anti-heroes, all while juggling private storms the public rarely saw. Together, they proved that Hollywood glamour is a thin veil draped over raw human struggle. Their parallel departures underscore a sobering reality. Behind every gossip rag headline beats a heart that can break like any other dot. So next time you stream an episode of Charmed and marvel at Cole's tortured gaze or Prue's fearless grit, remember the people beneath the wardrobe and prosthetic demon scars. Remember that real magic isn't in impossible spells or perfect endings. It's in courageous love that survives chemo rooms, on-set feuds, and paparazzi flashbulbs. It's in showing up again and again, even when the scripts go up in flames. And tomorrow isn't promised. Shannen Doherty and Julian McMahon may have left the stage, but the power of their messy, magnificent humanity burns on proof that the brightest stars stay alight long after the camera fades to black.